Hi everyone, this is Riva, my host mom, one of the best people I ever met in my life. That's true, really. Yeah, thank you so much for participation in this video. Today we're going, Riva is going to react on IC3PEAK. IC3PEAK, this is a some kind of new band in Russia who are making songs about political situation in Russia right now. Well, not only political, but even social issues. Yeah, it's kind of not really what you used to listen, I think, because it's kind of like a little bit maybe dark, because they kind of trying to show the importance of those problems. Yeah, so I just want to show you to see your reaction and to show it to people. So this song is called the name of the song I Speak. It's called Marsh, which is in English gonna be Martian. Yeah, so this song is about military, how they make soldiers out of people in Russia. So how do they make military society? They used to make it back in Soviet times, and how they make it right now. So the song is about this.
Ooh,
It's not. It's yeah. It's okay.
it's good.
Твое лицо совершенно такое же, а это здание есть в каждом городе. Есть такие ленты, колючая проволока, а за заборами нет горизонта. Окна забиты, я в двух этажонах. Кто-то на улице помимо холода. Там припаркованный прям за воротами. Он не стреляет, стоит тут работа.
So
Wow.
wow. Yeah, what's your thoughts about this? Yeah.
It's powerful.
It's powerful, yeah. So basically, like the problems that they discuss, this is some kind of like militarization that is going right now, and it used to be back in Soviet times.
Yeah.
Like from the childhood, they teach you how to, made an AK, how to shoot. Even me, in my high school, we went to shooting range, to teach to learn how to shoot, because I think they trying to make as many soldiers as possible, just for any kind of cases. It's like a Soviet Union policy, which is right now taken by our government. So they are trying to say, and also we have an obligatory army service. So it means every like, especially when you turn 18 years old, if you're not going to university, you have to go to the army. And many of guys like being in this age in the army, they really kind of traumatized because of it. Yeah. So I think in this video they're trying to show like that from a childhood, Russian children, teenagers, they are like taught to be cruel, learn how to kill people. And she's in one of the lyrics, "I don't want to kill people." She's saying. So this is the major idea.
It's very, yeah, it comes through very, very
Mhm.
clearly with the visuals
Mm-hmm.
in this with
Yeah.
from these babies. A couple, so since I'm so oriented to language, there were some things that jumped out at me that surprised me. And the first thing was there's a tank at the gate,
Yeah.
but it's fake.
But it's fake. Yeah.
And that I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to be fake.
Mm.
So if it's fake, and you know it's fake, what's its purpose? Why is it?
Okay.
Does it still scare people, even though if they
Yeah.
know it's fake?
Yeah, actually in Russian it translates a little bit differently, because it says there is a tank at the gate, but it's like for show off. It says для понта. It means like to show off. Oh, we are scary, we are powerful, but it's fake. And
So we're really not powerful and scary?
yeah, so they trying to say that this is your militarization is not it's not a real power. It's decorated with a barbed wire instead of festone. So it's like in every city, when you have to go to army, obligate army, you have to go to this place, yeah, to just to get into the army. Yeah, and it all looks the same in every city, even in a small one.
Okay, and they keep shooting at symbols that are very cheerful
Yeah.
and beautiful and lovely, and it's
Uh-huh.
like no,
Uh-huh.
none of that prettiness here, nothing cheerful here.
Yeah.
We're Russians.
Yeah.
Life is hard. Don't
Yeah.
get soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now there are some other lyrics that surprised me. I'm a stranger in my family, not a surprise. I do not fear them, and I'm still my.
Yeah, I'm like a stranger to my own
But
family.
I don't fear them, and I don't lie to myself.
Yeah.
Interesting,
Uh-huh.
because it's really an important line in here. I don't lie to myself. That gives me like hope, tremendous hope. So, and I don't fear my family. Good, good. That means the family hasn't been broken down by the state, the
Yeah.
government.
Yeah.
And I don't lie to myself. I have seen, as an American, even in these small levels, like workplaces, when you've got a manager, you know, you've got all your friends on your team in the workplace, and the manager starts making just stupid decisions. And all of a sudden, these very sensible people say, "Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. What a good idea." Because they know that's the best way to keep their job, is to keep the manager liking them, which means you flatter the manager.
That's all over the Russia also. In
Absolutely.
every level. I think it's everywhere.
I think
So,
it's a universal.
Yeah, universal.
And it's so those people are lying to themselves.
Yeah.
They drive me crazy. They make me put me in danger. And so this is such a hopeful line in these lyrics. I'm a stranger to my own family, so and typically young people they're not indoctrinated. They don't have as much to lose yet.
Yeah.
And the parents have to generally line up some way to create a better life for their children.
Yeah.
And so there's an estrangement between the parent and child, either more or less. So I'm like a stranger to my own family, but I don't fear them.
Yeah.
I don't. 'Cause family hasn't really broken down, and I don't lie to myself. It's like, I see the shit that's coming down here.
I also think this line is related to that many people who are like of my age or a little bit like older, all of their parents are somehow related to military. Like many of my relatives, they're related to military because Soviet times it was like the main job for everybody, just to work in the army, especially for men. So I think it's like they say like, oh, all of my family members, they used to serve in the army, but I'm like a stranger here. I don't want to kill people. I don't want to serve it.
I don't want to be part of that machine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what do you think about the music, by the way? About her voice?
It's a good job. Good job. I thought the music itself was very effective.
Yeah.
But it wasn't difficult for me to listen to. It was effective, but it didn't disturb my sense of, it didn't disturb me to listen to it. And I appreciate it because then I can stay with it.
Yeah, well, okay, perfect. Okay, I got one more song about them on another topic. So this one is about domestic violence, which is a really big problem in Russia, because I think it's all over, but in Russia it's like...
It's all over.
Yeah.
If there's more, it goes up if there's alcohol and drug use in the family.
You know, Russia, vodka, it's a big problem. So.
Right,
Yeah.
and then domestic violence is going to be a bigger problem. Oh, look at this setting.
Oh, yeah.
in this stove.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Я тебе писала и ждала тебя в ночи. Ты не отвечаешь больше на мои звонки. Каждый вечер оставляю под подушкой зуб. Умоляю небеса назад тебя вернуть. Я была хорошей, а плохой я не была. И всю жизнь как паинька по правилам жила. Надоело плакать, надоело мне страдать. Все равно не выйдет свою смерть предугадать. Мама говорила мне, слушайся мужа. Я непослушная, делаю хуже. Делаю не так, как наказывал папа. Вместо звезды я хватаю гранату. Мама говорила мне, слушайся мужа. Я непослушная, делаю хуже. Делаю не так, как наказывал папа. Вместо звезды я хватаю гранату. Я хотела бы тебя, как тогда, обнять. Но для этого придется тело раскопать. Твои кости видны где-то там на дне. Прорастут цветы в этой оплаканной земле. Растекаются по всей стене твои мозги. Очень разозлилась, но тебя ты уж прости. Сотый раз во сне я наблюдаю твой конец. И не так уж страшно в самом деле умереть. Я была хорошей, а плохой я не была. И всю жизнь как паинька по правилам жила. Надоело плакать, надоело мне страдать. Все равно не выйдет свою смерть предугадать. Мама говорила мне, слушайся мужа. Я непослушная, делаю хуже. Делаю не так, как наказывал папа. Вместо звезды я хватаю гранату. Мама говорила мне, слушайся мужа. Я непослушная, делаю хуже. Делаю не так, как наказывал папа. Вместо звезды я хватаю гранату. Я хотела бы тебя, как тогда, обнять. Но для этого придется тело раскопать. Твои кости видны где-то там на дне. Прорастут цветы в этой оплаканной земле.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, in this song, I think she's playing the role of mostly Russian men. Yeah, she's showing like how it used to be in Russian families from mostly men's perspective. Like she's playing the role of man here. Yeah.
It's surprising that the wife is the one who does the killing.
Yeah. Because,
But it does happen.
Yeah. Well.
It does happen, but it's taken out of any context of what was going on in the marriage.
Yeah.
Meaning that the cases that have gotten really famous in the U.S. of wives killing their husbands, when they go to court, it's like this is a woman who was abused, physically, emotionally abused by her husband for years. And so she either was doing it in self-defense at the moment,
Yeah.
or it accumulated over time until she couldn't see any other way out.
I see.
And so we don't have any history in this story.
Well, in Russia, like the whole problem with domestic violence is kind of hard because, like, if there were cases when a husband actually killed a wife, and it wasn't even a felony, sometimes. Yeah, and
Wow.
yeah, there were such cases, and like mostly right now women are really fighting for kind of restricting the law about domestic violence, because right now it's kind of like decriminalized. Yeah, like if you're
Wow.
if you're like, I don't know, your husband gonna punch you, so you're just gonna
That's is it term?
Yeah.
This is a family matter. It's between.
yeah
It's just within the family.
yeah it's
The
like
government stays out.
yeah
She can call the police. They're going to say,
yeah it's a really conservative way
this
to
is not
do
a.
yeah
Right. Oh my God. That's a really dangerous,
mm-hmm.
dangerous situation for
Mhm.
women.
yeah
Women do not have equal rights
mm-hmm.
when that's
yeah in
happening.
this situation so
So why do you think they did it from this viewpoint
from a
rather
domestic
than
violence-
from the husband killing the wife?
Well, I think it's more about husband killing the wife mostly, and she's playing the role of husband, in my opinion. Because mostly,
Oh.
yeah, this is the main struggle in Russia. There are, I don't remember cases when, like, women killed the wives. Well, there was a case really, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Two sisters, they killed their father because he was really abusing them. And yeah, and
that's
I
right.
think this one is also inspired by this situation because it was really like on the federal level. It was really like in mass medias.
There's so many things that I liked about this. And just in terms of the story itself, that I miss hugging you the way I
Yeah.
used to do, but I'd
Yeah.
have to dig you up.
Uh-huh.
And I think that is very accurate
Uh-huh.
for what happens in abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That because I've done some reading, some studying about this, some talking with people who work with domestic abuse,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the reasons why people don't leave those relationships, because sometimes they have the money, they have the support to leave, and they don't. There's actual love
Yeah.
that is present there,
Uh-huh.
and there's a bond, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes part of that bond, some of that bond, it's totally dysfunctional, but there's also a part of the bond, I believe, that it's love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of very real love,
Mm-hmm.
and so they capture that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's
I'd
actually
really like to.
There
When
is-
we were young, we were just getting acquainted. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I miss those times.
Yeah. Well, there is even some kind of like a joke that Russian women love when they kind of be in toxic relationships, in like harassment relationships, because they kind of like enjoy it. And there is-
a myth.
Yeah, that's a myth. Yeah. So some people like still think so
Right.
in Russia. So
Right.
Yeah.
I remember in the 1960s when I was a teen, and the pastor at our church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, religion is powerful for shaping you.
Yeah.
And the pastor at our church said, well, sometimes when I have a woman, a member come to me and she says, oh, my husband is so mean to me, he hits me, he's such a rat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say to her, well, why don't you leave him? And she says, oh, well, I've tried to, but I can't. The pastor said, I think she really loves the rat,
Oh.
you know? And I would, fortunately, I was from a household where that wasn't any kind of acceptable, that goofy thinking wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when your pastor
Yeah.
says, oh, I guess, women who are in abusive relationships,
Mm-hmm.
they love a man who's a rat.
You don't expect to hear this from a pastor.
Well, when the over culture
Mm-hmm.
thinks that way, the man of God thinks that way.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Gosh, I know it. Right, right,
Crazy.
right. They are so talented.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Even their movements, their dance,
Yeah.
their choreography,
Uh-huh.
so much has gone into that.
Yeah, and they doing it just by themselves. They don't have a label or producers. They just doing it by
Oh,
themselves.
amazing.
Yeah.
And their use of technology,
Uh-huh.
putting together these images,
Yeah, it's pretty well done. Yeah,
they're really well done.
I agree. I agree.
The makeup is and it's not a lot of makeup in the two that I've seen.
Yeah, and I like in one of those. I don't know if I would be able to see this.
Good.
She was kind of dressed up as a matryoshka, Russian doll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they used to dress up with a, I don't know, not blushing, but how do you call it?
Oh,
We call it rumyane in Russian. It's kind of like a special
a
makeup.
circle on the cheeks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a rouge.
Rouge, yeah. In
Rouge
Russia, yeah.
on the-
It's really popular in Russian culture to show people.
Well, I don't know if this is. They probably are going for this idea though,
Mm-hmm.
because if she's appearing like a Russian doll,
Yeah.
it's this kind of being stuck in a relationship like that goes from generation to generation.
Oh, yeah.
You grow up, your parents are abusive to each other. This is what you may hate it, you're traumatized by it, but you get into that relationship yourself. It's
yeah.
passed on from generation to generation.
So there is one more song. This one is about kind of political situation right now. It says like "Death No More." Speaking about like political situation, about IC3PEAK, this band. So they were having a bunch of concerts, like a tour around Russia in 2019, I believe. And they got many problems with having those concerts because they just, can you imagine?
Ice
they just,
Peak did?
yeah, because they just took off the train on, for example, Saratov, a close city to Moscow, and there were a lot of FSB, which is like KGB, old KGB. They were like checking their documents, like, what are you doing here? Like, are you sure you're gonna have this concert? Like, just pressing them. It was the whole tour. Some of the concert organizations who were kind of like letting them to have a concert on their stages in bars and clubs, they were canceling this in the last day, and they
Because they were intimidated by
yes, and in IC3PEAK they had to find those platforms to have a concert like in the last hour, and they just posted in the last hour there's gonna be a concert here, and every people like from those concerts they were moving to different places in last hour, because they were just trying to fight this press and system of FSB. Yeah,
A type of censorship.
yeah, a type of censorship. Yeah, so this song is about political issues in Russia. It's about like protests, how they fight protests mostly, and it's about like kind of like mood of young people right now in Russia, because they are so pressed. They don't really see some positive things, some changes, and so yeah, it's about this.
Я заливаю глаза керосином, пусть все горит, пусть все горит, на меня
Oh,
смотрит.
this one is actually a government of Russian. That's a building of the government. So she's like burning herself close to the government, the windows.
Вся Россия, пусть все горит, пусть все горит. Я заливаю глаза керосином, пусть все горит, пусть все горит. На меня смотрит вся Россия, пусть все горит, пусть все горит. Я теперь готова ко всему на свете. Я отсидела свой срок в интернете. Выхожу на улицу гладить кота, а его переезжает тачка мента. Я иду по городу в черном худи. Тут обычно холодно, злые.
This is the building of the main FSB. FSB is a KGB who are fighting with those protests. So this is a building of those.
Do you think they're actually in the square next to the building?
No, they would be arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and those are guys who are fighting those protests usually.
Люди, впереди меня ничего не ждет. Знаю, что тебя ты меня найдешь. В золотых цепях я утопаю в болоте. Кровь моя чище
That's a Kremlin. That's it.
Okay, I have more trouble. I can't figure out with the lyrics, and then I thought watching it would be more clear. I can't figure out who they represent, which side they represent.
Oh, they represent actually teenagers, I think, like people, young people, mostly. Oh,
But with gold chains on
yeah,
my
with gold
neck,
chains.
I'm sinking.
Oh yeah, actually, it's really interesting that you were actually questioned this. Well, right now in Russia, there are different young people. Those are who are from poor family, from regions, who are going to Moscow, to St. Petersburg, to big cities, the most protestive ones. And in those cities, those who are really successful, who work with the government or for government, they're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of out of those protest guys. Yeah, well, we know that our government is trash. They doing all those mistakes. But as soon as I get some money, as soon as I get gold chains, as soon as I get my brand new apartment and joints, I'm fine. I don't care. I will smoke my joints in my apartments. Yeah.
Right.
But those who are like came from those poor regions, poor families, to the who are like applied for universities, became a little bit educated, they trying to fight this, and as soon as they got kind of like fired out. How do I say this? They too tired of it, and they kind of like firing themselves, always thinking. And it actually happened to myself. I was always thinking about this whole political problem, and it kind of like burned myself from inside. So it's kind of really hard for young people to kind of think about it all the time. Sometimes you just need to be Russian to feel it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because
I mean,
it's more related with emotions.
But I also, that's why I'm so impressed. So these are 3 now that I've watched. I'm so impressed that they're immediately accessible to me. Immediately, I watched them once, and I get it. I get a story
Yeah.
with it, and I get a very strong emotional reaction, but also kind of intellectual reaction to it. There.
This one is the last one I wanted to show you. It's called a сказка, which means a
fairy
tale. Yeah.
Oh, I love it because, you know, I pay a lot of attention to fairy tales.
Fairy tales.
And from around the world, and some of Russians' fairy tales are quite famous.
Quite famous, yeah. Oh, well, this one is not typical Russian fairy tale.
Oh, okay.
Я из страшной русской сказки, все равно откуда ты. Не боюсь дневного света, здесь и так хватает мглы. Мир подарит, сколько просишь, заберет, когда не ждешь. Не играю в твои игры, ты когда-нибудь умрешь. Я из страшной русской сказки, все равно откуда ты. Не боюсь дневного света, здесь и так хватает мглы. Мир подарит, кровоточит на губах. Мое имя, твой страх, 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 кровоточит на губах.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
I've watched it once. That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah. It's pretty hard to watch, I know.
Yeah. It's good thing you saved that for last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horror story, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it makes me think. It's very, very fearful. Very fearful.
Yeah.
Um,
So did you get any ideas about what was it trying to say in this song? I've got several ideas. I can start.
yeah, you start.
I think everybody kind of understands this differently. So I understand this, like, I really like the thing about, like, the child. Like, you got this when they kind of, like, got together, like, the skeletons, the bones, and there is a teddy bear that appeared. It's like the child, and there is a scary babushka that kind of runs over themselves with their children, and they're trying to escape it. And I kind of understand this, like, oh, our babushkas, they really like to participate in the process of, like, bringing up the child. And in our meaning of young people, our babushkas has really bad values from Soviet times, from Soviet Union, because they were educated this way.
Right.
And right now they're trying to kind of get rid of this influence of their babushkas to their children, not to kind of spoil with those values. So this is how I understand this.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Right.
I don't think it's like the major problem. I think like it was not the major, I think. Yeah, but it's pretty hard to understand, right?
Well, and the music was harsh,
Yeah, it was harsh, yeah.
right? Unnerving.
Mhm.
Yeah. Unlike the previous ones.
Yeah.
But they're very clear. At the beginning, this is a horror fairy tale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So, in general, what do you think about IC3PEAK, this Russian band?
They're amazing.
Amazing.
They're amazing. They're really intelligent, and one thing that separates them from a lot of art that I've seen is accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, even though it's kind of complicated, at the same time it's accessible because
It's
you got emotions.
Right. And I'm from an older generation. I'm from an American generation, and boom, it hits me.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Like, really, I mean, that's, that's really what an artist wants to do, and often they miss it. And then when I've seen music videos, and they're American music videos, and I don't have patience
Yeah.
to watch them very much. And I think probably because these have stories, I can figure out
Yeah.
right away what's this story about, and then it brings me along. And so I'm very intrigued with these. Their purpose, it's not about music.
Yeah.
I think it's what they're doing is social commentary.
Social commentary, yeah. I agree.
Right. So they have a different starting point. They're really intelligent. They're really accessible. I think they're level. And I've got a long history in dance and doing dance and watching dance performance.
Yeah.
And they've got some background in it.
Yeah, I actually heard that both of them from some kind of intelligent families, from intelligentsia, the class of, teachers, professors, music artists or just any artists, and I think they had this background of kind of like playing classical musical instrument. This
Oh.
girl, Nastya, she was actually during her childhood, as she told, she was listening to a lot of operas, classical music. Like until 14 years old, she was listening only operas, only classical music, because her family were really strict, kind of teaching her this way. And she was going to this musical school to learn piano and like classical instruments.
Oh, that's why she's so good. There's so much intelligence in it
Yeah.
because she's got this technical background.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow. Bravo.
Yeah, bravo.
Well,
Okay.
my mind is percolating. You know, I'm going to get together with a friend. He's got a lot of education, and I'm going to text him to look at IC3PEAK
Oh, okay.
before. And then, of course, I've got a past student who's from Mongolia who loves Russia,
Uh-huh.
and he's up in Canada going to school now, and I'm going to tell him to look at these.
Oh, it's gonna be real interesting.
Yeah, because when he was at my house, he introduced me to some of the Mongolian bands,
Uh-huh.
and there's some really great music
Oh,
out of
I never
Mongolia.
heard Mongolian music. I'll need to.
Well, well, it's another story, but they're very, some of their bands are tradition based
Uh-huh.
and in traditional Mongolian music, and then they're doing it 21st century.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
And
interesting.
you know, so they've done this incredible fusion
Oh, okay.
of
Okay.
traditional with international
Uh-huh.
perspectives now.
Okay, well, yeah, Riva.
So I'm a big fan of IC3PEAK now.
Okay, great. I got one fan for IC3PEAK. I feel good for myself.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, thank you so much, Riva, for participation in this video. It was really interesting to see your reaction, actually. I'm really glad that you liked it, because I like it a lot. Sometimes it really makes me get a lot of those emotions.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really emotional to watch it.
right.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Thank you so much once again. Yeah, and yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Yeah, so yeah, that's
Okay.
it for today.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to be here.
Bye bye. Bye bye.